And now I'm being joined by Dr. Friday Sani, former country head, International Human Rights Commission in Nigeria, and the African regional head of the International Human Rights Commission. Dr. Sani, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
So today we're marking the International Human Rights Day, and we've seen stories, for one, that case of 11 and bad governance citizens who were on trial. But what's your take in terms of human rights across Nigeria?
Well, I will start by looking at what has happened that you have expatiated here. I think is another win for human rights struggle in Nigeria. I believe that we're not yet there, but I think with what has happened, it is an eye-opener to all security agencies in Nigeria once again to come to the reality of the fact that human rights is not a privilege. It is a right of the people.
Okay, but is it just...
So abusing it amounts to a disgrace like this, and we don't need it as a state at the moment.
Is there a problem with understanding what human rights is all about? Because it's not just, some will say it's not just the security agents that abuse human rights. Even the citizens also abuse human rights. So is there a problem as understanding what human rights are all about?
Yes, it is true that human rights is not in the custodian of government alone. It is also in the custodian of Nigerians and a human being that is alive. But when it comes to who is responsible for what, especially delivering on the protection of the right of the people, it is majorly conducted by the government. And that is why government is always at the center of human rights abuses. So I believe that should a template be properly set by the government and followed by all conventions that Nigeria is signatory to, I am very sure that what we have today will not be having it.
Okay, so before you came in, we were looking at some of the cases of human rights abuses that happened recorded between 2020 and 2025. We looked at the End SARS protest in Lagos and the killings or the shootings that allegedly happened there and those that died. We also looked at how the insurgents across the northern part of the country have also abused the rights of Nigerians, abused their rights to security, abused their rights to life. And then one would ask, in the light of this conversation around human rights with the theme access to justice, access to peace, how do we ensure, at what point do we ensure that Nigerians at all levels begin to enjoy? I know you mentioned that government needs to set up the template, but let's just say government is working on that. How else can we go about this?
You see, just like you said before, Nigerians need to understand what human rights is all about. It's like we'll continue to talk about only a particular thing. We talk about illegal arrests. We talk about injustice as what we know as the right of people. It goes beyond it. Human rights is all-encompassing, and like what we are seeing today, in fact, right in this studio when I came here, I have discovered a man who is almost falling down here because he got a report of his own child that is ill, and the hospital could not accommodate him to take care of him.
That's before you entered the studio? In
the studio here, there is one of your guests here who is expressing that heavy shock. In fact, as we speak, the child cannot even talk. So instead of the hospital to be able to help, I said help. Instead of the hospital to be able to perform their duty, the hospital is not performing its duty because health of a child is a right to the child. Following all conventions that Nigeria is signatory to, it is the right of the child to access health care.
Dr. Sani, we have to go now, but I'll just ask you real quick. Where is that hospital? Is he in Abuja?
ABU Zaria Teaching Hospital.
Ahmadu Bello University Zaria Teaching Hospital. And what's the child? Do you know the child's name?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But
well, I hope the authorities, someone in the authorities is listening or watching this. There is a child at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital who's not being attended to, and the father, who is here in Abuja, is having heart palpitations, wondering what happened to their child. Please, something should be done real quick so that that child gets access to health. Thank you so much, Dr. Sani, Friday Sani, for coming in. Former country head, International Human Rights Commission in Nigeria, and African regional head of the International Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.